you can see that I have 3 audience members today. My name is CFine, and today I am going to talk to you a little bit about your voting wrong. Now, it's not to say what you vote is wrong, it's to say you're doing it at the wrong time. One of the most frustrating things that I encounter when talking to people about politics is they don't feel like their voice matters. They don't feel like their vote matters. We live in a democracy, but we go to the polls in November, and in November, the popular vote goes one way and the electoral college goes another way. Well, it doesn't actually happen that often. It's happened 5 times in history, but 2 of them have been in the modern era. And a lot of the reason people feel disillusioned like this is because you're voting too late in the process to have any influence or say about what's going on. So, my audience, how many of you voted in the last local election?
Local?
We've got 1.
Why did
So, last elections, we've got a very low voter turnout in a lot of things, even here in Colorado where we have mail-in ballots on our final voting that happens. Additionally, those ballots are established at the local level months before November. So typically you've got your neighborhood precinct level gatherings that happen in February. And then as of 2016, Colorado has an open primary, and those take place in March. After that, you've got wonderful amounts of runoffs and campaigning and town halls, and all of that's wonderful, but the only other input point you have is in November. So making your vote matter is about making sure that you're doing things throughout the process and knowing when your dates are. So I got involved with this because my best friend got kicked out of the public library for breastfeeding. In the state of Colorado, mother and child have a right to be there. The mother and child have a right to eat there. So I got angry and I started calling our local commissioners, and they didn't want to take me seriously at all to start with. A few weeks after that was our local caucus, and I met with some of my neighbors and I explained to them my problem, and I wound up a delegate to my party's county convention. And at the county level, the same thing happened. I began talking to people and I became a delegate at the state level. So I've run through this 2 cycles now. This wasn't actually my first brush with politics, but it is my first brush being involved very much on the local level. And that becomes important because you get mad and you get moving. So there's so many things that you can do. You can talk to your friends and neighbors. You can figure out when your next town hall meetings are. You can attend rallies. You could do any number of other things. But you actually have to do them. And that's not just voting in November. So traditionally speaking, your local caucus doesn't look like you. They're older, they're whiter, and they're kind of out of touch. They have retirement on their mind, not a mortgage. So in order to make the policies of your local environment better for you personally, you need to change that demographic by turning up. So that gets us to dates. Dates are important all along this, and unfortunately, since 2016, the dates in Colorado have been in kind of a fluid motion. We as a state voted to switch from the caucus methodology to an open primary. So what that means is that Republicans, Democrats, they will each hold their own primary elections, and if you are anywhere in between, you can pick one or the other to vote in. The results are non-binding, but they are. They are weighted. They make a big difference in what the parties pitch forward, and they also enable the runoff races. So, for example, today in Denver, there is a mayoral election going on, and and it has resulted in a runoff, but they will complete later in the summer to whittle down to one candidate for the November ballot. So that means that depending on the outcomes of your various races at the very, very beginning of this, you may have more voting to do later in the year, or you may not. If we go back to 2018, here in Mesa County, we had a large number of unopposed races. So when the Republican Party sat down at the county level and decided who was going to be on the ballot in November for coroner, they actually did have options. There was our current county coroner, Victor Yan, and a challenger, but both were Republican. So any independents and any Democrats in the area had no say-so whatsoever. They were given a candidate. So this is why we started to move away from the caucus process. We are still figuring it out, but your local races are what matter the most to you. Those are the things that determine your property taxes, your gas tax, your school mill levies. If you want your schools funded, that happens at the local level. Your county sheriff is your only elected member of law enforcement. He's your only democratic voice when it comes to how your law enforcement is going to engage with you, the public. So it's very important to get out and find when your local elections are and vote in them. Talk to the candidates, because at the local level you can actually meet them and you can shake their hands and you can bend their ear and you can gripe at them and you can make them uncomfortable. Or you can make them your best friend. It's entirely up to you, but getting involved is what makes government work, or at least what makes it work for you. So we've discussed you're kind of voting at the wrong times. So now, who's going to vote in your next election, your local election? Vote a little earlier than maybe you have before. Yeah, see, progress. Wonderful. Okay, are there any questions?
Yes. When's the next primary?
The next open primaries are next year, and they will be on Super Tuesday, March 3rd, 2020. So make sure to get to your local polls, and there are all kinds of groups and organizations that are happy to help get people to the polls if they need assistance. Anything else?
No, thank you.
All right. I am CFine, and thank you for listening.
Thank you.